Right, so now that we are out of the gates of hell, it's time to move forward. And, oh look! It's another Antonio's Notes! Awesome. New music here is Vigrid, Town Areas. So, just being original. The Crystal and Witch Sage. Within Vigrid City there are a great many structures built long ago by two clans, the Umbra Witches and Lumen Sages. Sorry about this is going to happen frequently. Amongst them all have a sun and moon duality, evidence of a peculiar outlook towards the universe, the witches representing the moon and the sages representing the sun, burned into the fabric of the city in various ways. One of these structures, a pair of statues crafted from a high-quality crystal known as Beltiston Crystallos, featured both a witch and a sage. The statues appeared to hold some sort of special significance. According to ancient records, they were created to aid in the training of the art of overseeing time, a skill only the two clans that were capable of practicing, that also served as the key to locking something away from public view should the clans feel the need for secrecy. However, the exact details of this art are unknown. Now the city, scarred by the tragic witch hunts of the past, have seen many of the statues depicting witches destroyed or heavily defaced. Even these beautiful crystal statues were unable to escape the calamitous fighting. Now the reason I'm going through these is because pretty much I don't think I've ever seen a Bayonetta walkthrough that has done this, and I feel that they deserve some screen time. Also, that little crow right there was an Umbran Tears of Blood, which we want to collect because they are one of the major collectibles in the game. Also, here we have an Umbran resting place. Basically, these are littered throughout the game, and they provide you with a variety of items, ranging from broken witch hearts, broken moon pearls, to concocting items. We'll discuss concocting items a little bit later on, but yeah. So, these Umbran Tears of Blood are littered throughout the game. Unfortunately, you cannot collect all of them on normal difficulty alone. To get the entire set, you need to play on the two higher difficulty settings as well. You need to go through the game multiple times to complete it, essentially. Music here is Advent of the Angels B. I quite like this scene, it's just quite cool. Also, here we have the introduction of the Applauds. Music here is Bayonetta prepares for battle A. So, bring it, angels. Now, pretty much what happens in well, what's going to happen is that after each entry in the hierarchy of Laguna that appears, the angels are very, very likely to attack you immediately afterwards. So you are going to want to kind of be prepared to dodge very quickly. Also, you can pick up the angels' weapons and use them against them. Now, this spinny move, well, this pole dancing move, is very, very, very helpful if you want to rack up your combo score. And seeing as it's upping your combo score is paramount to getting a good rank, you are going to want to do that. Now, as I was saying a little earlier, with the Enochian, basically, Bayonetta uses Enochian when she's summoning her torture attacks. So when it's the winch and chain, she says Piareth, which means in, well, the depths of my jaws. When she summons the guillotine, it's Pierre Zixley, which is Holy One Stirred Up. I believe that's it for now. I mean, pretty much the slightly irritating thing that we have is that because it's a different language, obviously it's slightly difficult to get the exact thing of what they're saying, because obviously this is a language that not really anybody uses anymore. But either way, here we have a beloved, with the music being the heavies. Now, beloved is pretty much a standard enemy. So, if this is a standard enemy, you've got to think, kind of, the scale of this game is ridiculous. And that is one of the major things that I do love about this game, is that the scale is just so insane. Now we have summoning of beastly demons. And here we have our first infernal demon of the game, Gamora. Now, Gamora is basically one of the biblical cities that's mentioned in the book of Genesis and throughout the Hebrew Bible that got absolutely wrecked by God. Can't remember exactly what they did. But yeah, they were consumed by fire and brimstone. And frequently the Sodom and Gomorrah, those two pretty much come hand in hand, have been used as metaphors of homosexuality and vice, normally kind of as deviation. So, yeah. Also, right back here we have a hidden verse, and there's a number of these throughout the game. And if you want to get the best rankings in the game, that you are going to want to do as much searching as possible. Or just follow this walkthrough, because I'm going to be completing every single verse in the game on normal mode. Now, I think pretty much every time I played this game, for some bizarre reason this chapter has always given me some grief. I think it's because it's a slightly small arena, and there's lots of enemies trying to kill you. Although I have to say that I think that this particular run-through of this verse is absolutely wonderful. That massive 16-ton weight is a nice little reference. If I recall correctly, it is a reference to Fantasy Zone. Yes, it's a reference to the old Sega game Fantasy Zone. And there are lots of old classic Sega game references throughout the game, which is really awesome. Now, if you destroy pots and everything, then sometimes you'll find the butterflies which will give you more of your magic back, and sometimes you'll find health, which is very important, although finding health is definitely rarer than finding magic. Because the one thing that you shouldn't come into this game expecting is an easy ride. Bayonetta is not an easy game. Unless you're playing on easy or very easy modes. But I think a lot of people, well, a lot of kind of gamers don't like doing that, because it basically most kind of major gamers like a challenge, and so playing on normal is kind of the hallmark of a good gamer generally. Although obviously some people do like to play on the harder difficulties, but yeah, Bayonetta is certainly on the difficult side of games. It's very accessible and very easy to play, although one of the major criticisms is the camera. Although, as I have found out, you can up the sensitivity of the camera, which makes it a lot easier to play. Definitely.
Let's go.
Now, that Umbran Witch there is actually voiced by Helena Taylor, who also voices Bayonetta, which is quite awesome. There's that little Easter egg there. It's not really an Easter egg, I guess, but... Now, here we have a massive demon... Well, demon? It's a massive fire-breathing angel dragon. Not a demon in the slightest. But basically, you've got to kill him. If you keep on dodging, then you can pretty much keep entering Witch Time. There's an achievement which is enter Witch Time 10 times consecutively, and this is pretty much the easiest point in the game at which to get that. Now, you can actually beat this verse without the Umbran Witches dying, which I never knew until I was doing an extra bit of recording for this walkthrough. But yeah, you can actually beat the the verse without the Umbran Witches being ruthlessly eaten, which I think is awesome. And yeah, I got a pure platinum. That makes me very, very happy. And we're actually already at the end of the chapter, pretty much. We've just got one verse left. So, let's get on with A Witch's Brew. I've discovered the existence of something called alchemy. This is the deconstruction, combination and reconstruction of everything, metal, flesh, even spirit. If one understands the logic of the age, alchemy is a prime example of the era in which it was developed, although lesser known is the fact that alchemy is an offshoot of the witch's secret art of concoction. Concoction was only practiced by the Umbra Witch clan, and the materials, amount, and methods used were never shown outside of thing. However, in the chaos of the witch hunt, some details were said to have slipped out, including the knowledge of the primary mixing compounds, baked gecko, unicorn horn, and mandragora root. Also hidden was their role in controlling defense, and vitality. It has been discovered that correctly combining these items may result in creation of various useful compounds. These materials are obviously no longer in existence, and even if they still existed, outside of being a member of the Witch Clan, one would have to take out a contract with the Dweller of the Netherworld to obtain these rare items. In case of emergency, the witches placed these materials within Purgatorio, a realm caught in between the Trinity of Realities, in which the items were said to still remain. When creating a concoction, the correct procedures, amounts, and combinations are absolutely essential, and the art is not for the inexperienced. Now, that's where you can do your concoction. I'm not going to do it here because I don't need items, nor do I actually want items, because that'll tempt me to use them. And basically, if you use an item that counts adversely to your final rank. Indeed we have.
One note hits their ears, and a damn who's who of Inferno comes pouring out of the inner circles. Then I can use them to breathe life into what I make best. Weapons of mass destruction. Tell you what, you give me that record, and I'll order up something so fiendish, angels will cry at the sight of it. I'll just have to pop down to the tropics for a bit. So take a load off.
So basically, this gets us a new weapon. Each new weapon has a classical music piece associated with it. The Onyx Roses one is Schubert, Marche Militaire.
He's a little rude, but he makes up for it with charm. Be nice to him, okay?
So, yes, we have the onyx roses, which are... well, I don't find much use for them, but that's kind of just me. They're a bit slow, and I've never really liked using them. I mean, pretty much there is a... there's a slight glitch that can be performed, particularly with a later weapon, but apparently it is also possible with the onyx roses. But I don't use them. In most instances, I would try and do a run through of the game with giving each weapon suitable camera time, but this isn't the time for it, really. And here we have our last verse of the game. That'd be slightly terrifying. But yeah, this is basically the last bit of the chapter. So we've got a massive beloved. Now, if you want to get a good ranking, don't do what I'm doing. You actually want to hit him rather than firing, because this just kind of lowers your combo. I think if you just stand still on the bridge when the beloved appears, then you can actually get a special game over screen, but I've never seen it because I've never stood still. Now, I honestly can't think how many people have died at that point. It's kind of ridiculous, because pretty much kind of what happens is that everyone tries to battle the beloved as he's climbing up the stairs and completely obliterating the platform, which is kind of just like, why? But then I guess at this point I played the game enough times to know to run, and also, yeah. Now, the bit of Enochian that Bayonetta just used there was Avavago, which, if I recall correctly, is thunders, or that which thunders. Yes, well, thunders or the thunders of. Which I quite like Avavago. It's quite a cool phrase. So that's our first proper chapter done. I'm feeling quite proud of myself. Especially considering that's 5 pure platinums, which I don't think I've ever gotten on this game before in chapter 1. My skills are improving. This is great. Now, I don't think probably discussed Angel Attack a little bit in the last time, but basically it is just to get extra items and halos. Basically, if you buy items from the shop, then you have a limit. You can only get 3 of like the lollipops, which improve your health, defense, and so on. But using Angel Attack, you can get more. But as I've said before, I don't need them. So, let's move on to chapter 2. We're going to get an awesome character in this chapter, I feel.